Howdy and aloha. Welcome to Manata. The earth and you are ohana. We hope you stay and talk.
Okay. Howdy and aloha, everybody. It's James with Montauk. All right. It is June the 29th, 2023. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. I don't sound echoey. I sounded echoey a couple of videos ago. I was like, what the fuck is happening? So I fucked with my mic and put some foam on it and I just Mickey Moused it. I have plenty of microphones. I've just been through all kinds of them. This one works the best, as far as I can tell. So I'm going to switch over to this video. Kamala Harris. This is so great. This is so great. You're going to love this because she's a fucking lunatic. I mean, she's obviously, as I've always said, ever since I started my Blog Talk Radio show in 2014, and then started late 16, early 17, my YouTube channel, and I'm on my 6th, 7th, 8th now, or whatever. Because of about 2020, they started ripping my channels left and right from YouTube. Strike, community guidelines, strike, community guidelines. It's like fucking ridiculous, just for giving my conclusions, perspectives, and doing my own research, questioning authority and its sources at every turn, having clarity and courage. Anyway, you're going to love this. You're going to love this one. Let's see if it plays.
We all watched the television coverage of just yesterday. That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But just limit it to what we have seen.
I gotta play it again. Wait, go back. No.
We all watched the television coverage of just yesterday. That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But just limit it to what we have seen.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. That's fucking crazy. I was watching Fearlessly Authentic, and I do jump in there every once in a while. Those people are wonderful. And they were talking about this, they had Sugar, I think her name is. She goes, I was talking to somebody trying to talk to them about men can't lactate. And I'm like, I wouldn't even fucking talk to that person. I was just like, you know what? You're wasting my fucking time and energy. Get the fuck away from me. Okay, because the woke CEI Corporate Equality Index released and opened the fucking hangar bay doors, and a hangar bay door is huge. We're talking doors that open that you can put a blimp through, okay, or the Spruce Goose, or fucking 747, whatever, space shuttle. And it's just opened the wokeness equals asylumness. It's just lunacy, right? And as far as I can see, they're just a bunch of fucking lunatics running this country right now. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm not saying that a lot of Republicans aren't fucking loopy, because some of them are, right? Definitely Lindsey Graham's a fucking shithead. Mitt Romney's a piece of shit. McConnell, just crap. And there's a bunch of other rhinos in that bunch that, et cetera, that, not just rhinos, they're part of the lunacy. They're part of the fucking show. It's the show, it's been a circus for a long time, but since 2020, early 2020, when Fluid came out, it's just been fucking completely crazy. just they've been seeping out of the walls from underneath the rocks. I was like, why would you even talk to those people? If somebody said to me, you know, men can breastfeed, I would definitely say, you need to get the fuck away from me right now. Just, and keep going. Stay the fuck away from me, and just, goodbye. That's it. You don't want to be around them. They're just fucking lunatics. Go check yourself in. It's that simple. I don't need to have a conversation and try to situate your pronouns on what you fucking he, she, what, are you a fucking fire hydrant one day and a fucking pair of sunglasses the next day? It's fucking craziness. It's craziness. You're a man or a woman. If you're a transvestite, that's fine. If you like to dress up in women's clothing and perform and do your thing, that's fine. If you want to, have gay sex, that's fine with me too. Whatever your preference is, just keep it the fuck away from our children, and we don't need it flying around our fucking capital, right? And portraying ourselves as like this is the masses. Because there's just a small segment of these people, very, very tiny small segment, right? And they've exploded and gathered just the crazies, right? And California just released over 7,000 pedophiles, and the Democrats are fine. These are child molesters. Okay, these are sick fucking fucks that have been let out of the asylum or prison because they were child molesters. That's what a pedophile is. And you guys want to give them like free passes to everywhere, and that's okay. And it's just no, it's not a sickness. It's a mental fucking problem that needs to be eradicated. Because I'm telling you, those fuckers that are inside, if you're a pedophile and you go into jail, okay, because I've been there. And I'm telling you right now, you don't last long. Okay, even though these guys are fucking drug dealers or whatever, fucking gangbangers, I don't fucking whatever. I'm telling you, they don't like the kid thing, and they will fuck you up. It's not about, don't get excited about it, because that's not what it's going to be. Just so you think that's the place you want to go. They're going to fucking just beat on you. Your pain is going to be a natural occurring effect once you go in. I've seen it. They definitely hate those fuckers. Okay? They hate those fuckers. And out here too. They're just, get the fuck away. You're a sick fucker. You're messing with babies, with children, with toddlers, with teenagers. Don't fucking talk to me that you can fucking lactate and you've got a fucking beard and swinging balls. Just don't fucking waste my time. You're fucking lunatic. Get the fuck away from me. It's that simple. I'm just not having it anymore. None of us. This is just insanity. And it's been released. It's all by design. CEI, Corporate Equality Index, not DEI, Jimmy Dore. DEI was created back in the Civil Rights Movement to allow more minorities, especially blacks, to go into colleges, which didn't really help, because then all of a sudden, here's a good example. I want a pilot to fly my jet that's bringing my children from California to KC, Missouri, where I live, right? But I want whoever the minority is, whether it's black, Asian, Hispanic, somebody from India, whatever. But they don't, which is rare. Let's just say, for example, they don't have great test scores and they were probably the lowest in their class, but they were able to be given the position. Is that the person you want flying your kids around, or you want the person that did the best, attended all the classes, learned all the rules, almost aced the test, at least in the top 10, out of 40 or 50 or 60 pupils, Isn't that the person you want flying around your children? So DI was noticed, and I understand that, but it also lowered the bar. Right? The problem is there were people at the time, blacks, that had the test scores, that had the curriculum and the academic skills, right, to fucking get into those colleges, and they weren't. It was racist. I wonder what party was more racist back then. Yeah, it was the Democrats. It was the Democrats, by the way. Look it up. Right? So the point that I'm trying to make is we need people in this country that want to strive, that want to be better, that look, I'm not the epitome of that by far, but I would like to have people that are driving my kids in school buses or my grandkids in school buses having the better scores on the test, rather than we hire them because of their gender, pronoun, or their skin color. Tell me if that doesn't make sense to you, then you're another fucking lunatic, and go lactate, with your beard on and you're swinging balls. Okay, just try to understand that. It's just common sense, common fucking sense. So what we need is I love the example of the Olympics. Okay, the real Olympics, men and women competing from countries all over the world. Okay, there's no transgender yet in there. Okay, but these are the elite of the elite. I like chess games. I like chess because they have men against women, women against men, and it's there. They also have pool where they have men against women, women against men. If you're a man, you want to wear a fucking thong and a dress and go play pool against a woman, that's fine. That doesn't fucking bother me. Right? But if you want to swing your shit around kids in a parade or wherever out in the public, right? That's not cool. That's lunacy. That's lunacy. Oh, we shouldn't be embarrassed of our bodies. Look, I get it. Sex is important, right? But what does that do? What is sex? Right? It's an orgasm. Let's just get to the fucking chase. It's an orgasm. It's the pleasure, the excitement, the revving up, the foreplay, all that stuff, getting to that moment. I understand that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But the thing is we are in a moment where it's all okay. They're including kids. Kids. That's nuts. It's criminal. It's felonious. Child molesters. So if you are in support, right, of everybody's inclusive and don't draw a fucking line, there's something wrong with you, or you're just being played by the show, by the lunacy show. Right? Here, want me to show you the lunacy show again? Let me show you it again.
We all watched the television coverage of just yesterday. That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But just limit it to what we have seen.
This is what you're being driven by. CEI is placed and was created. Okay, DEI I got. That made sense. There was a lot of minorities, Hispanics, blacks, whoever, that weren't, a lot of people, here's the way that worked. A lot of people would change their names in the 50s, 60s, and 70s to McNally or Schneider, and they were black, they submitted their information, their test scores, their ASVABs, and all that other, not ASVABs, but SAT scores, ASVABs, military. and they would be accepted. But when they showed up, all of a sudden, oh, we're having second thoughts. Because that was racist. It was wrong. And that was the reason for DEI, which makes absolute great sense. But then it got infiltrated. And then it turned into anybody. Doesn't matter your score. Doesn't matter your ability. Right? If you go to a football team, baseball team, soccer team, volleyball, girls softball, you're not getting on that team because you're whatever you think you are, whatever pronoun you think. That's not the reason why you're getting on that fucking team. You have to try out. Have you ever heard of the word try out? This is part of the way life works. People, kids have to be challenged. There's going to be a moment in time when if you're a young, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old, and you're going through the end of high school and college, there's going to be a moment when you have to lay that resume down, and these employers, right, are going to match it against others. And then they're going to interview to see if you can, see if you're coherent and you aren't fucking talking like this fucking crazy shit. That's not her, but Kamala Harris. Okay, they want to make sure you can handle the fucking job. And if you go in there going, well, my pronouns are he, she, it, white, fucking, I'm fire engine in the morning, and I'm a fucking piece of duct tape at night. Yeah. I haven't spent a couple of days a year looking up how to say all the names kids have these days. Like, how do you pronounce JKMN? I don't know. Noel? I don't know. This is all, again, CEI, as I said and I've proven, they brought CEI, the Corporate Equality Index, and they announced it. They got Kelly Robinson into the Human Rights Campaign, right? And she just, here we go. Everybody's in now, right? But what that did for the World Economic Forum, ETAL, others and alike, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, Chatham House, Center on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Agreement, all these fucking entities with these bazillionaire monarchs, oligarchs and shit that are out there, these predatory class elitist shit fuck, authoritarian bullfuck fuckers. They created this and they infiltrated. They did it on purpose so they could cause, for one, their biggest asset, and this is the greatest tool. It's been used for hundreds of thousands of years, or thousands of years, or millions of years. However, whatever your beliefs are. But they've been doing it for a long time. It's called divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. So, if we keep people fighting against each other, they'll never know who the true enemy is. Do you understand that? Do you guys understand that? Let me show you. Just so you kind of get it. Oh, I love this right here. That was the beginning of it. I'll get to that in a second. But it's very simple and it's very plain, and people don't think they're being used and abused and tricked, but they are. This is the way it's working. It's part of the system. It's part of their process. You're being abused. You're being used for an agenda to distract you, to cause problems, to cause division. They want you to be mad at each other so you won't know who the true enemy is. Right? Divide and conquer. If the 99% continues to fight each other, then we'll never defeat the true enemy. And I put it right there. World Economic Forum, ETAL. Stop being their pawns of division. It's that simple. It's that simple. Because the shit that they're trying to do, okay, the shit that they've been trying to do and bringing about, is they're starting to implement it. It's not a joke. It is not a fucking joke. These people are fucking serious. And they're trying really hard. Right? They're trying very, very hard to make this this new world order, which is not a conspiracy theory anymore, because it's on their website and they bragged about it, and you've heard it all over mainstream media now, right? It's very fucking simple, right? When you have Nicole Kidman, right? Robert Downey Jr., the shithead cook guy saying you guys need to eat bugs because they eat bugs, right? Yeah, you know they eat bugs. Come on, they eat bugs. You know Nicole Kidman's eating bugs every day. You know Robert Downey Jr. is eating bugs every day. Come on, right? That's why they advertised it recently, because you know they're eating bugs. Right there they are, right there. Right? Right there. They're eating bugs. You know. There it is. And I think that's that's Angelina Jolie with her whatever kids she's wrangled up from whatever country. Okay? So Robert Downey Jr. and there's James Corbett. There's Corbett, the fucking shithead. The fucking tool of tools. Right? Scientists say that cockroach milk is 3 times more nutritious than cow's milk. Right? Is that what you guys want to start eating? This is what they're doing. This is not a fucking joke. They want you to eat the bugs. Right? And their other plan is this is on their website. This is on their website right here. They want to space bubbles in. This is sick. Interested and remarkable of the day. Right? And here it is. This would be placed at a Lagrange point. That means between the sun and the earth. That is a point in space where the sun and the earth's gravity balance each other out. But then it kind of just sits there and it's a giant balloon. And it's supposed to block out the sun. That's the article. That's the World Economic Forum. That's what they want to do. Because that's going to help. Right? And then one of their, in a sense, subsidiaries, okay? This is the people that are creating all this crap. Right? Swedish scientists advocate eating humans to combat climate change. This is not a fucking joke. This is real. They're serious. Right? And they're talking to you like it's okay. Tell me that's not as fucking as loony as this fucking chick. Right? Are you saying that's not as loony as this fucking chick right here? She's all for it. Biden's all for it. The Democrats are all for it. Even some Republicans are all in. They're all into this shit. This is not a fucking joke. These are the people that created CEI and they implanted it in 2016 at the Davos meeting. I have proof of that. I'll show you that in a second. But here, what else do they want to do? What else do they want to do? Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. Right? Right? They had that word out in 2016. Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. That was 2016. But that's what they wanted. And then in 2020, this is on the website. This is on the website. You'll own nothing. You'll be happy. This is how our world could change by 2030. This is called Agenda 2030. Okay? You'll own nothing and be happy. Right? And then they started doing the 15-minute cities, which I might have some information on that, but I don't. And then here's the other one. World Economic Forum urges public to eliminate ownership of privately owned vehicles. That's your car. They don't want you to have. That's 2022. That's on their website. This is the the globalist website, or this is one of their biggest websites. Go there and see what their fucking agenda is. Right? See what their agenda is. See what's all about them. Gosh darn it, I lost that. But here's where I was able to grab, and I have it in here somewhere. It's probably right in front of me. I just can't see it. No, 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 no. It's in here, I'm just missing it. It's the one where it shows. Is this it? Yeah, that's up to. There it is. Okay. Yeah. So I did some studying, and a lot of people have. Me especially. You know, I got time. I'll do it for you, don't worry. And I'm bringing it to your attention. If you ever need any information about it, let me know. What does the Corporate Equity Index and the World Economic Forum have in common? With Kelly Robinson and Alfonso David. Those are the leaders. Alfonso was the leader, which I was familiar with. Kelly Robinson is new to the game. She's 2016, 2015, 2016, right? Of the Human Rights Campaign, which I had one of these flags on one of my trucks, supporting my nephew, who came out, who was gay, and he was still a wonderful guy, right? But what happened in 2016? See, the HRC's been around for, I don't know, 20, 30 years at least, 20, 30 years. But then what happened is they implemented CEI, Corporate Equality Index, at the Davos meeting. Davos is World Economic Forum meeting summit. If you go to a Davos meeting, that's the summit. If you go to the Davos meeting, that's the summit. Okay? Davos is the summit or the meeting organized by the World Economic Forum. So they put that in there. Everything they've implemented, everything that they've done for, I don't know, since they've been around, 71, 74, someone in the late 70s or the early 70s, right, has caused major division. Totally complete division. Always just getting people riled up, and they do it on purpose. It's a great distraction. It's a great distraction. It's always been a great distraction. It's a great distraction from the CBDC. It's a great distraction from the CBDC, central bank digital currency. Absolutely. Okay? And they have the help of corporate media. Because, you pay corporate media, right? You give money to corporate media all the time. You give money to corporate media all the time. You're one of their sponsors, right? Right? You're one of corporate media's sponsors. You're the advertiser, right? No, you're not. You never have been. You're not gonna be. They don't listen to you. They listen to their donors. They listen to big pharma, big military industrial complex, the big banks, big oil, big coal, big hospital, big elderly care, big insurance, stuff like that. Big nuclear, big chemical, Dow Chemical, stuff like that. They don't listen to you. They don't give a fuck about what you have to say or what you need to do. They might have a feel-good story, but they don't give a fuck. That's common sense. I'm just trying to bring some common sense to you. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. I don't. I mean, if you want to argue, that's fine with me. Then you're welcome to come on and I can show you all the information I have, which is a lot. And then, bring to the table whatever you have. That's fine. All right? Bring to the table whatever you have. And I will be happy to go over what I have, and then you'll come to a conclusion, and maybe I could be enlightened, or vice versa. Old John D. Rockefeller and his 19th century fellow capitalists were convinced of one absolute truth, that no great monetary wealth could be accumulated under the impartial rules of a competitive laissez-faire society, which means that everybody's kind of equal in the realm of industry. The only sure road to the acquisition of massive wealth was monopoly. Drive out your competitors, reduce competition, eliminate laissez-faire, and above all, get state protection for your industry through compliant politicians and government regulators. Compliant politicians and government regulators. Which I've always said Citizens United is shit. Nobody fucking brings up Citizens United. The reason why we're in the position we're in right now is a good majority of it is because Citizens United. Nobody fucking talks about that. The last avenue yields are legal monopoly, and illegal monopoly always leads wealth. Right? They get these people, all puppets of the World Economic Forum, at least most of them. All they need is the majority of them to buy in, just like they do with the cabinet of Canada. Right? All they need is these people here, most of them, to do their bidding when they have. Right? Yeah. It's just, and they get the media to work for them. As I've always said, on the right here, or the one with the bomb, that's something I produced back in 2017, maybe 2018, and I had it up on my Facebook and my Twitter and all that, and I brought it up in conversation all the time. The most dangerous weapon is not a gun. The most dangerous weapon is a media that is controlled by a government that is controlled by the 1%. Right? That is controlled by the global elitists, all the fucking predator class pedophiles. And then COVID came around. The most dangerous weapon is not a gun. The most dangerous weapon is the media that is controlled by the government, but that is controlled by the predator class, aka, the corporate elite. 0.001%, basically. Okay? And that's what they want to build. Right? The reader of this theory of the building socialism with Chinese characteristics. The capitalism with Chinese characteristics. Entrepreneurship. There's just too many words. Just small business, just a business that runs like that in the state. It's called corporate governance. That's what it's called. It's called corporate governance. And if you go into the World Economic Forum website, that's probably one of the biggest words you'll see, is the implementation, the readiness, the building, the orchestrating, the planning and pre-planning of corporate governance. That's the biggest thing. And corporate governance means that a group of people control the world. That's it. That's what it really means. It means that the heads of these corporations will run the world. But it's all by people that you may not even know. It's by people that you probably don't even. Hey Jordan, how you doing? Welcome. Snork, I think so. What's up, brother? Mana Bowman demand transparency. Public officials, they freak out like they were all terrorist hypocrisy. Yep. The WF psychos. I'm deleting emails with Hillary Clinton. I must relate it to LOL. Sharing ideas and sharing information. Should good ideas don't require force? Yeah, yeah, they don't. They shouldn't. I mean, I've been absorbed in this stuff, man. I think what got me really going on this, and it took me a little while for it to sink in, is after 2008, when the 2009, 2010 things got really bad for a lot of people, me included. I was in California. California just got fucking pummeled by the recession, and it was a recession. Things didn't go well for a while, and I was, digging and climbing and trying this and this and that. And then I started noticing YouTube. I started watching Jimmy Dore. I started. Who else was I checking it out at that time? I don't really know. Probably that. And then all of a sudden, this little show came on. There's Eben Kim and a few other people. And that's where I met up with Cheryl. I met up with Eric, who comes on here. Definitely Snork. Stevie with Red Economics. I also met up with Independent Outsider. I met up with who's gone to the whatever side that is, the lunatic side. Um, Broken Carpenter, Zaldivar, uh, Dominic Buscemi he's still cool. He's still out there. He's still good. He's awesome. Yeah, Vivek is shit, dude. He's not to be trusted. He came out too quick. You can never trust that. And then he's connected to some big pharma companies. Yeah, he wants to go after the World Economic Forum, but um, talking about it and doing it. So if he's serious about doing it, that's a good question. Um, Kelly and Brian, yes. Kelly and Brian. If you can think of anybody else, used to come on. Um, what was that girl with the purple lights in the background? Oh God, I always forgot her name. But anyway, um, it's real simple. It's so hard to trust anything right now. And let me tell you, I'm a very I have a lot of experience in being, tricked, fooled many times, many times. And I think we all have. I've had it in politics, I've had it in work, I've had it in relationships. Like all of us. I mean, if you're over the age of 40, you're definitely in that position. You've been there. You've been there. And it's hard to see. It's hard to follow. It's hard to see it. It's it's a tough. It's extremely difficult to get behind that curtain in the first place. Sometimes that stage is real high, and you have to climb through and fight through and sneak through and get through as much as you can to finally be able to see what is the mechanisms behind that curtain, who's actually pulling the levers, and who's telling everybody to pull the levers. That's the key. But whatever's happening, we know that it's a divisional thing. For one, as I've always said, it's the greatest fear to the greatest fear to a monarch, an oligarch, an elitist, especially these new pedophile fucks, is unity. And I'm starting to hear a lot of progressive liberals or liberals and this and that. They're starting to see it because they're seeing like uh, Dr. Drew, who used to be on with not Adam. What the hell was this? He was a boxer. It'll come to me. Um, they used to do Dr. Drew used to do a show called Loveline in the 80s, 90s, kind of went away in 2000. I think it went to XM Radio or something like that. Adam Carolla, he did with Adam Carolla, and they used to have the banter was amazing, but they would get young teenagers or somebody on the phone. You know, I think you had to be over 18 to call in. I'm pretty sure, right? Or at least you had to say you were over 18. And they would talk about all kinds of things, and then they got into some medical questions, they got into some political questions, and stuff like that. But Dr. Drew kind of grew over time. But now he's starting to really expose. I mean, the stuff that he's been exposing has been pretty wild. Let me see if I have something new here. Right here. He had Tom Renz on, who was suing everybody in the world regarding the fucking genocidal bioweapon. Right? He's fucking. This guy is like seriously going after those people. Let's see if I can get that up here. Oh, wait, okay. What was I? Boop, boop. Similarly. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Here we go. Yeah, so there's Dr. Drew. Let me open it and kind of show you what's going on here. Just play it. And it's interesting that they're able to have these questions. You couldn't talk about any of this shit back then. That wasn't going to happen. That was not going to happen. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Okay, fuck, whatever.
Kelly and I are very excited for today's show. We've invited back Dr. Tom Renz. He made an impact last time he was here. He is an attorney who has been 3 years, 24/7, eating and sleeping his concerns about many things, including what happened with this virus and where the funding has come from and how the SARS-CoV-2 may have been the source of a huge cover-up. You can follow Tom at Renz, RENZ-law.com. And he is also on Twitter as Renz Tom, RENZTOM. So we're going to bring Kelly in early, and we're going to get to this.
So look at the bottom right there. Look at Google's always protecting the fucking pedo elite oligarchs. Look, get the latest information from the CDC about COVID-19. There it is. Just let's learn more. It's just fucking. That's just fucking funny to me. That's just fucking funny that they keep doing it, and we know they're protecting them. They're protecting these criminals. It's like This is Google has become the greatest criminal entity on the planet. You guys notice that? Google has become the greatest terrorist, criminal, protecting system, entity, corporation, group, society on the planet. They protect, from my perspective, and from my conclusions, and a few theories that have come to fruition, right? That have turned into spoiler alerts. Google has become the fucking predator class protector. That's what they are. They're the predator class protector. And so if you work for Google, I'll just tell you one thing. Why did that change over there? Why did that move over here? This is weird. I've said this in the past many, many times. If something starts to happen with the impeachment or whatever, and I'm not holding my breath, Adam Carolla, right? Made the cartoon that made this saying, "I didn't order sausage on a pizza," after crapping on it and giving it back to the pizza delivery. Oh my god. Yeah, I didn't. Fucking snort. Yeah, they had a lot of good bits. So in regards to Google, it's. I mean, I I have one thing to say to these people that work at Google. As soon as things start to change, and they're starting to, I'm seeing a slight. Nothing's changing. Everything's still the same. The process and program, Agenda 2030, the New World Order, the Great Industrial Reset, shit, crap, whatever the fucking they're calling, is still happening. That is still moving at full force, at the same speed they had planned it to move. There's nothing happening there, but there is a tiny momentum swing in regards to people being alive, people starting to get it. Like I said, Dr. Drew here, mainly very liberal progressive, right? Tom Harmon, very liberal progressive. He's starting to question it too. He can't stay in that position anymore. A lot of them can't stay there. They understand, and they're not idiots. They may have been paid off. They may have been subsidized. Fucking gotten royalties. Who knows? And became a part of that mechanism of true hyperbolic misinformation, of hyperbolic news that was generated to cover up for the criminals, the pedo elite, the Bill Gateses, the Faucis, the Walensky's and the Zelenskys, right? And all these entities, the Trudeaus, the WHOers, all these complete criminal entities. From my perspective, complete criminal entities. From my research, complete criminal entities. From my observations, right? Coming to the conclusion, listening, hearing, seeing, touching, tasting. It's real simple, right? These people are, at some point, this pendulum starting to swing. Not the pendulum, but more like the momentum is the balance of power from the consensus. The 99.9% are starting to move because it used to be severely tilted. Everybody was COVIDian. Everybody was fear. I got to take this. I get it. Keep wearing your mask. But it's falling apart, and it's falling apart quick. And what I'm telling the people that are out there that still believe that you're doing the honorable thing, you're not anymore. You're just doing it because of the paycheck. You hate yourself because you have to take down channels like mine, right? And maybe it's a joke now. I don't know. But I'm not getting paid by Pfizer, right? I'm not getting paid by Enron or Lockheed Martin or Moderna. I'm not getting funding from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, right? I do this out of my own time, energy, because I care about my kids and their future. You're getting paid to destroy that, and you're going along with it. Think about that. You're getting paid to destroy their future, ripping away their First Amendment rights, ripping away their Second Amendment rights, and all the rights, destroying the Constitution, giving them the ability to pray or worship whatever God they want to or not. Because the World Economic Forum has already created and starting to create their AI religion. They're rewriting the Bible with AI, right? And soon it's going to be the Quran, and then Hindu, and then fucking Mormonism, and the list goes on and on and on. But it's their way or the fucking highway. And you're a part of that. Mr. or Miss or whatever he, she, fire hydrant or pair of sunglasses you are today, person. You're part of the destruction of common sense. You're part of the destruction of cognitive, logical thinking. And you're getting paid for it. I get it. I get it. But there's a time that that's going to come and bite you in the ass. Because doing what Google has been doing, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram especially, right? And removing our speech when you're an American company in America. That's a violation of your First Amendment rights, and somebody's going to sue the fuck out of you. Somebody's going to sue you so bad you're going to wish you never fucking... You're going to wish you never, ever stepped foot in the Google fucking facility. But you do. And that's sad. Because they're not... You really think you're going to be protected. It's not about that. It's not only is it going to be bad on that aspect, right? But you have to live with what you think you're doing is right. Depopulation. So you're saying that I'm killing you. No, I'm killing you. No, your heritage needs to go. Your lineage, your heritage, your kids, your grandkids. No, you should only have this many kids. You should only have this many kids. So you're telling me that I need to kill my lineage or cut it off or limit it. That's what you're saying to me? Why don't I say it back to you? No, you need to. No, you need to stop having more kids. You don't need to have a lineage in it. As a matter of fact, you need to off yourself. You need to unlive yourself and fucking, that's it. Because you need to help climate change. Because with the more people like you that are out there are hurting us from living. And then you're going to say, well, the more people like you that are out here are hurting us. It's a war. That's nothing more than a war. Depopulation mentality means you're creating war on another person or group or their family and their heritage and their lineage. That's a threat. It'll be considered in the future that people that support depopulation are people that's premeditated murder. It's premeditated murder. Just how else do you look at it? I want you to die so I can live. What is that? What does that really say? That's premeditated murder. That if you were in a courtroom and a judge, right, and you were the butler with the pipe, and you said, well, I wanted them to die to save the planet, what would the judge do? What do you think the judge would do? He'd throw your ass in fucking jail. Right? If he had common sense. But if he's paid off, he wouldn't. And that's what you're hoping. That's what you're hoping. Right? You're not going to be saved. And they're not depopulating the global parasitic predator class that's out there that control all this shit, right? Don't have a place for you. They don't have a fucking place for you. They don't have a spot in their silo or on their fucking John Cusack 2012 movie Ark, right? As they did for many people. If you watch the movie, a lot of people got fucked that thought they were going on the Ark, but then they were cut off. right? There's only a certain amount of people that can fit inside of a silo. There's only a certain amount of people that can fit underneath the mountain resorts that they have and these arcs they've built, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're not in it. You need to change what's happening. You need to do it from here, from your heart, right? It's not for the greater good. It's not for some malevolent biblical creature or person or entity. It's not for the universe or anything. It's just for being a pure, decent person. You're just a good person. You sit down, you wake up, have a little coffee, drink a little orange juice. I'm just a water guy. And then you go to work and do your thing, and you decided not to go to Google anymore. You decided not to help that fucking entity to grow. You decided that it's just not a part of who you stand for. And that's what's important right now. What's important is, what do you stand for? What do you represent? Right? I represent my kids. I represent my kids and their kids. That's just the way it works. And you should do the same. And if you don't have any kids, you should represent the people you love and care about. Right? I care about my neighbors. I care about my city. I care about the town. Whether they believe the way I do or not, I still care about them. If something happens to them, I'm still going to pull them from a burning house or a car. Right? I'm still going to protect them if somebody tries to bully them or hurt them, or tries to commit thievery or whatever. I'll do whatever I can to protect the people that in my community. Absolutely. We all should. That's the village mentality. Right? The village mentality is probably the most threatening mentality to the predator class. Unity is the most threatening word to them. 6 foot safe there was no reason for that, and they've admitted it now. There was absolutely no reason for that at all. None. It was for division. They started keeping people from gathering. You get it? They want people to stop gathering. You couldn't go to. They didn't want the Orange County Fair in 2020, 2021 didn't happen. That was a huge gathering of people. Lots of commerce, lots of rides. The KC Fair, all the fairs were shut down. What was interesting is in West Virginia, in 2020 and 2021, they have this little carnival in Marmet, West Virginia. They didn't stop. The little carnival guys, they're like, fuck you, we're going to bring some happiness to people. Buy your ticket for $3 or $4, go ride some shitty ride, throw your fucking dart or your ring around something you're probably not going to win. They don't care. They just want people to come out. And people did. And they were fine. And they had a good time. Like the Renaissance fairs, some of them were shut down, but some of them stayed open. People need each other, and we need to build towards each other. We're going to Mars, and I know this kind of moves in a different direction, but are we going to Mars, or just the elite going to Mars? As far as I've seen, the only people that can go to anywhere off of the planet has got to pay about $250,000 to do it. Yeah, and I don't see the future with a lot of us in it, and that's their goal too. They want to eliminate 2/3 of the planet. They can better manage 1 or 2 billion instead of 7 or 8 billion. You understand? That's their goal. Just look it up. They need more money, they need more power, they need more military. NATO, and just do, if you need to see the dots, just let me know, I'll let you know. The dots are simple. NATO is created, but what's interesting is NATO was created just a few years after the Reich or Hitler kind of was taken out. Right? Isn't that weird? Right? The UN, I think, or NATO, one of them. I always get those kind of mixed up. I know that the UN's older than NATO by far. But a lot of those people that created NATO also, or the UN, also came from the Reich of the Hitler regime. Yeah, they did. Here, yeah. I don't know what you guys are fighting for, but we got to get on the street. We got to get on the street. So here's Tom Renz, right? Just to let you know. This guy's fighting like crazy. If you had him on YouTube, $250K only gets you to Leo. Very expensive after Leo, and basically the Apollo astronaut did not expect to live a long life after Van Allen exposure. Yeah. I'm still up teeter-tottering on that snort. But in regards to what Tom Renz is doing, he's kind of a new attorney, by the way, but he's got a lot of people jumping on board. They're going after the crap that the big P company fucking did to everybody, right? The big P company that did shit to everybody. And it's for good cause. It's for good reason. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Right? I'm going to show you another one. I'm going to take a break, but here's the thing. I would like, let me see, I got to talk kind of more personally with people. You're important. You have purpose. And you have a special place on this planet. If you made it out of the womb, I'm telling you, not easy to get out of there either. I'm a fucking mistake. I'm a fucking fruit. And I think everybody's mom at some point goes, "You all were fucking mistakes. I don't know why I had you guys in the first place." And that resonates with most moms on the fucking planet. I think it's like 85 to 90% of the fucking kids on the planet are mistakes. But are we? Are we? I don't think so. I think we're here. We're enjoying ourselves. We're having a good time. Thank the gods. Thank God. Thank Jesus. Thank Allah. Thank Mana. Thank everything for us being to have this amazing structure in this vessel. To be able to witness and do these things, and have these feelings and emotions and senses. Snark says we have like 27 senses. Was that what it is? Actual senses are 16. Anyway, I know it's a lot. It's more than just 5, right? And it's important for everybody to understand that what you're doing every day is fine, as long as you're not hurting somebody, or we're talking hurt now. If you're just fucking around with somebody, that's different. Me and my buddies, we fuck around all the time, and if you ever look, my buddies are like race car drivers and surfers and fucking high-end athletes, and just most of them are just they competition and fucking around with each other was, you're gonna get offended, and if you step into that circle, you better be ready. But it's just a part of this how we were. It made you tougher. Right? And it was just good to be a brunt of jokes, and everybody was a brunt of jokes at some point. Every fucking one of us was the brunt of some fucking crazy joke. Not more than, well, there's a couple of us that I think. Yeah, I know one guy who used to get shit all the time, but I ain't gonna talk about it. But he was very, but he's successful. We were just, for us, he was just very, he was very fortunate, and I think we were jealous of that, most of us. But I didn't really give him too much shit like everybody else did. I kind of backed away, but we were all having fun. You know, don't get your fucking feelings hurt if somebody says you're fat, or if somebody says you're weak, or if somebody says you're um, not adequate, or if somebody says you're something compared to them or compared to the status quo. No, you don't need to be like. You'll know if you're going to be able to make it. I'm kind of just getting to make sure that if you are um, offended by certain things, then just kind of look who's offending you. You know, do they need that? I used to, in our high school when we were kids, we were the bully beater uppers. The young brothers didn't tolerate bullying at my high school. We didn't. We hung around with some of my best friends were the mods, the rockers, the fucking dopers, the fucking chess club, the band guys, the fucking music department, just everybody had value to me, and I appreciated all of them for everything, the different cultures, the different personalities. It's just awesome. It was just fucking awesome, and then just to limit yourself to just a bunch of fucking jocks. I mean, yeah, I was the fucking linebacker, defensive end, dude, whatever. But I used to hang it out on the other tables, at the other tables. I just had a good time with those people. They were good people, you know. Um, and they all have wonderful hearts and stories, and everybody was in good spirits. Oh, we had food fights though. Ooh, we had some good food fights. As a matter of fact, some real idiots out there used to start some fucking food fights every once in a while. Used to start a couple, but I liked working. I used to work with the ladies in the lunchroom, in the cafeteria. I used to, if they needed, I was working there because I'd get extra tater tots. They'd give me like as many tater tots as I could have. I was just like, yeah, tater tots, right? It's fucking awesome. Yeah, everybody has purpose. Everybody has meaning. You know, find your meaning. Find your purpose. Be. It's okay to be offensive too. It's okay to be offended. Yeah, I don't like the way they're fucking talking to me. I mean, if it gets too personal, of course, yeah, you should say, well, now you've drawn a line, bro. Right? Now you're kind of drawing a line. So I'm gonna choose to either not participate with you or I'm just done. And then you'll hear, oh, you don't want to fucking. You're just not worth my energy or my presence anymore. Ooh, you're not worth my presence anymore. That was one of my favorites. That's why I used to tell them, if you're giving me fucked with, just say you're not worth my energy, my time, or my presence anymore. You're not worth it to me. That's a good one. All right. Some people will say that's okay. That's the way it should be. But there's just all kinds of things. I mean, this little thing right here, mine's kind of small. It's because it makes the whole thing come together. Without this, none of this out here comes together. There are people out there that will look at something and everything's upside down and to the left. I'm telling you. So to keep it straight, believe in yourself, believe everybody, and take everybody at face value. You know, you know, believe them. Oh, there's an alien across the street. Really? Are you sure? I don't know if I want to check that out. No, he's totally harmless. It's fine. Just come check it out. I'm like, let me grab my R10 and I'll be right with you. Right. I don't even know if I'd even fucking go. Nah, you go have fun with them. That's fine. You go. You just make calculated decisions for yourself, and I think that's a good thing to do. But everybody has purpose. Everybody has meaning. Everybody's important, right? Born or unborn. The thing about that, and I'm gonna end with that, and I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna play something from Jordan Peterson, who's wacky. This guy's fucking wacky, but he kind of did a good job on this last school, after school cartoon little sketching thing that's there. Let me find it first. Hang on. I know I lost my train of thought, but I want to make sure I get to that. Where is it? After school. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, hold on. What do we got here? Wait, nope, here. Okay. Oh yeah, Anderson Cooper was in Wakanda. When I get back, I'm going to talk about that. That was a good fight. Those are some good fights. Grappling. Oh my God, they fucking destroyed this machine. If you put a diesel or you put a fucking 2.0 or a fucking 1600 in there, that I would buy all day long. But now it's got this fucking battery in it. Stupid. Here's the conversation that Fearless had. All right. Savvy Sav's still doing a great job. Due Dissidence, I was doing a decent job. Supreme Court ruling, affirmative action. That's part of DEI. Okay. What the fuck was DEI? Equity. Anyway, I keep forgetting what that is. Sound of Freedom, good movie coming out. Oh my God, Angela Bassett. Oh, she is so smoking. She is a smoking hot woman. I don't care what you fucking think. Yeah, Anderson Cooper was in just tons of shit. He's in tons of shit. Oh, I watched that part of Wakanda Forever. It just went in so many directions. It wasn't confusing, but it's just, so who are these people and what can they do and where are they about and what the, it wasn't going too fast. It's just kind of weird. Let me see here. Oh my God, Joe pooped his pants on live television today. Oh my God, he fucking did. He sat down, he goes, oh, I gotta go. And he left. He fucking shit himself. Right? Robert F. Kennedy, Dr. Shiva hates that fucker. Gen X, I used to draw Gen X when I was younger all the time. I should start drawing. I'm going to start drawing. Working on. Oh, what was cool is on the combo couch, James Rogowski, who we have fucking conversations left and right, was on the combo couch. The guy's got some good stuff. His Substack is amazing. You guys should check him out for sure. This guy's new. Due Dissidence, where are we at here? That was Dr. Shiva. He hates. Oh, fucking Dylan Mulvaney just took a shit on fucking Bud Light. Dylan Mulvaney. He's an actor, by the way. He's not really who he says. And he's a lesbian now, too. He's a man and he's a lesbian. Oh, here it is right here. Jordan Peterson. How long is it? It's a few minutes. I'll be back in a minute, guys.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of After School. I'm Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. Today, we'll be summoning our inner monsters. Without further ado, let's dive in. You know, you might say that someone who is incapable of cruelty is a higher moral being than someone who is capable of cruelty. And I would say, and this follows Jung as well, that that's incorrect, and it's dangerously incorrect, because if you are not capable of cruelty, you are absolutely a victim to anyone who is. And so part of the reason that people go watch anti-heroes and villains is because there's a part of them crying out for the incorporation of the monster within them, which is what gives them strength of character and self-respect, because it's impossible to respect yourself until you grow teeth. And if you grow teeth, then you realize that you're somewhat dangerous, or maybe somewhat seriously dangerous, and then you might be more willing to demand that you treat yourself with respect and other people do the same thing. And so that doesn't mean that being cruel is better than not being cruel. What it means is that being able to be cruel and then not being cruel is better than not being able to be cruel. Because in the first case, you're nothing but weak and naive. And in the second case, you're dangerous, but you have it under control. And you know, a lot of martial arts concentrate on exactly that as part of their philosophy of training. It's like, we're not training you to fight. We're training you to be peaceful and awake and avoid fights. But if you happen to have to get in one, and I guess the philosophy also is that if you're competent at fighting, that actually decreases the probability that you're going to have to fight, because when someone pushes you, you'll be able to respond with confidence, and with any luck, and this is certainly the case with bullies, with any luck, a reasonable show of confidence, which is very much equivalent to a show of dominance, is going to be enough to make the bully back off. And so the strength that you develop in your monstrousness is actually the best guarantee of peace. And that's partly why Jung believed that it was necessary for people to integrate their shadow. And he said that was a terrible thing for people to attempt, because the human shadow, which is all those things about yourself that you don't want to realize, reaches all the way to hell. And what he meant by that was, it's through an analysis of your own shadow that you can come to understand why other people are capable, and you as well, of the sorts of terrible atrocities that characterized, let's say, the 20th century. And without that understanding, there's no possibility of bringing it under control. When you study Nazi Germany, for example, or you study the Soviet Union, particularly under Stalin, and you're asking yourself, well, what are these perpetrators like? Forget about the victims, let's talk about the perpetrators. The answer is, they're just like you. And if you don't know that, that just means that you don't know anything about people, including yourself. And then it also means that you have to discover why they're just like you. And believe me, that's no picnic. So that's enough to traumatize people, and that's partly why they don't do it. And it's also partly why the path to enlightenment and wisdom is seldom trod upon, because if it was all a matter of following your bliss and doing what made you happy, then everyone in the world would be a paragon of wisdom. But it's not that at all. It's a matter of facing the thing you least want to face. And everyone has that there's this old story in King Arthur where the knights go off to look for the Holy Grail, which is either the cup that Christ drank out of at the Last Supper, or the cup into which the blood that gushed from his side was poured when he was crucified. The stories vary, but it's basically a holy object, like the phoenix in some sense, that's a representation of transformation. So it's an ideal. And so King Arthur's knights, who sit at a round table because they're all roughly equal, go off to find the most valuable thing. And where do you look for the most valuable thing when you don't know where it is? Well, each of the knights looks at the forest surrounding the castle and enters the forest at the point that looks darkest to him. And that's a good thing to understand, because the gateway to wisdom and the gateway to the development of personality, which is exactly the same thing, is precisely through the portal that you do not want to climb through. And the reason for that's actually quite technical. This is a Jungian presupposition too, is that, well, there's a bunch of things about you that are underdeveloped, and a lot of those things are because there's things you've avoided looking at because you don't want to look at them, and there's parts of you you've avoided developing because it's hard for you to develop those parts. And so it's by virtual necessity that what you need is where you don't want to look, because that's where you've kept it. And so when you see these stories of the hero, you know, journeying to unknown lands of terror and danger, that's what happens to you. It happens to you all the time. You know, you're in this little safe space like the Hobbit in the Shire, and then, you know, there's a great evil brewing somewhere, and you can no longer ignore it, so off you go into the land of terror and uncertainty. And better to go on purpose than accidentally, that's for sure, because at least you can be prepared. And we also know that if you're going to face a threat, if you face it voluntarily, what happens is your body activates itself for exploration and mastery. But if you face it involuntarily, same size threat, then you revert to prey mode, and you're frozen, and that's way more stressful. It's way harder on your body. And so it's better to keep your eye open and watch for emergent threats, because you all know, you know, what you're not doing quite right and where your life is likely to unravel. You all have a sense of that, and the best thing to do is to not ignore that, to pay attention to it, to watch it, and to take corrective action early. And then, you know, you stay on top of things, and things, your little trip to the underworld might be a few minutes long instead of a catastrophe that produces post-traumatic stress disorder, knocks you out for 4 or 5 years, and maybe you never recover. So one of the things you need to do if you're going to be a human being is to prepare yourself to be useful in the face of death. And so when you have a parent that dies, which, you know, shatters people's ideas, often they can't even think about it. If you can't even think about that, man, you've got some thinking to do, because you need to be able to at least think about that, because otherwise you're just going to be a wasteland when it happens. And you never know, you could even have a higher ambition. Maybe you could even be useful when it happens, instead of being part of the heap of destroyed people who also have to be taken care of. You know, and that's brutal. You have to be brutal to be useful in the aftermath of your parents' death. You know, you don't get to crumble and fall apart, and no, you have every reason to. So you got to be kind of some tough monster to manage that. But do you want to be useful in the face of tragedy, or do you want to be pathetic? Well, you make your choice. Thanks for tuning into this episode of After School. I appreciate the work this creative animation team has done in bringing my content focusing on psychological matters to their audience in mind in such a creative and innovative manner. Good choice and combination of spoken word and rich, evocative illustration. Thanks, guys.
When you're launching a new product with a tight deadline,
2 weeks?
Grammarly's tone suggestions can help motivate your team with a positive approach. Because you know we got work to do. Looking good, team. When it's time to pitch your product to clients, a more personable and friendly approach can help sell it. And look, they bought it all. With Grammarly, getting the tone just right makes a big impact.
We all watched the television coverage of of just yesterday. That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But just limit it to what we have seen.
That is fucking hilarious. Still hilarious. Oh my god. Alright, where are we at here? Let me go to my favorites. See if some of this stuff just popped up. Let's play this guy.
The secret is how to control everybody else. And you never understand how to control everybody else until you get to the top of this pyramid of initiation. Most people never make it past the third step. All above that are carefully chosen and nurtured and taught. And Americans, for all these years, have been looking around for the enemy. They've never been able to find an enemy. So those who control them were able to control them even better by giving them an enemy. That's what Stalin and Churchill and Roosevelt determined at Yalta. Who was going to be the enemy post-war? Turned out to be Stalin. And there was going to be this phony Cold War so that the population would never discover the real enemy. And I'm talking about the population of the Soviet Union as well as the rest of the world. You see, the enemy has always been here. It's your uncle, your aunt, your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your nephew, your nieces, who belong to the fraternal orders collectively known as the mysteries. The very highest degrees of which, combined together, make up a secret order known as the Illuminati. Their goal is to destroy all existing religions save theirs, all existing governments save theirs, and shackle the mob in a system of eternal oppressive debt chained to a computer for the rest of their life, and a propagandized world to make them believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that exists. I kind of showed the initiations and how these people do little signs for themselves and stuff. I don't know if I have that up right now. Maybe it's on my Facebook. But I always said, that was 1996. That guy was, I'm sure there was all kinds of stuff. And G. Edward Griffin had talked about that crap many times. But he didn't really single out the Illuminati. He said Illuminati's kind of gone now. That's what they used was their system. And the system was rings within rings within rings per G. Edward Griffin, which the guy's been on top of it for longer than I think most people out there. So I've always said that no matter, what culture in, what theology, what, not ideology, what theism you believe in, whatever cult you're associated with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, whatever group or society you're a part of, whether it's the Grand Poobahs of Flintstone or, the Illuminati or Skull and Bones and all this other shit. You're still responsible. I mean, you're the one that made that decision. You're the one that, you're the person that made a choice. You had options. That's kind of going back to what I'm talking about with the Google employees. And, no matter what they're telling you or what they're doing, you always had an option. Oh, by the way, I still have my CPAP. I'm not doing some implant. I'm not fucking using some nasal. No. Until they can find a way, and I had it when I was thinner, and I had it when I was fat. So it's just the way it is. It's just kind of weird enough. It's an interesting genetical anomaly to me, if you ask me. So, I don't think animals have fucking sleep apnea, in my opinion, or from my perspective or my research. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. You're the person that makes the decision um, to to use your cell phone while you're driving. You know, because that text message is more important than the guy that's 12 inches away coming 50 miles an hour the same direction that you are uh, in the in the other direction. You think that your text message is more important than the person driving 12 in. Just let me explain. So a yellow line that separates most highways, two-way streets, or freeways, or highways, or roadways. That paint is usually about some of it's 4 inches, 2, maybe 3 millimeters high of paint. There might be little divots in there to tell you that you're veering off in the wrong direction. But most of them are about 12 inches, which is a yellow asphalt and yellow. 4 inches, 4 inches of just asphalt and then yellow paint. So when you're doing that text, you're making that decision. You want to look at that video, or you want to see that picture, or whatever you want to do on your cell phone. It's more important than paying attention to that line. That's your choice. Doesn't matter what culture in, doesn't matter what theism, doesn't matter what Illuminati, because that person's life coming towards you on the other side of that road, I guess, doesn't make a difference. I think you're understanding what I'm saying. It's all about your choices. What are your choices? Sorry. Gotta have my apple. Okay. Whatever CVRA. This is a cleaning mechanism for the president. Is a CVRA like a bidet? Or is it like something you can wear that just kind of cleans your... I don't... Dude, don't want to... It's just... You make that ultimate decision. Right? You're either liable for your actions if they are bad, or liable for your actions if they're good, or liable for actions that aren't taken or anything that happen. Okay, that's enough story. It's fucking sucks that you pay. Holy crapola. Holy crapola. I'm going to jump in a couple more here. There's some pretty good stuff. All right, what was one that I thought was really interesting? But I thought was really well done. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like this lady right here.
Oh, good morning. It's just me. Get my flag nice and pretty. So everybody who walks by my house understand that there's a Marine on this block. That gives them the mindset of protection. I'm a Marine here on this block. There's 3 of us that live on this street. Do you understand? And the neighbors around here appreciate us. and love us and come talk to us all the time. That's why I love being in my neighborhood that I'm in. Yes. And so we don't have a black and white issue in America. No, we don't. We don't have a racism issue in America. No. We have a people and character issue in America. Yes, we do.
What's a character?
And when it comes to diversity and all that stuff and inclusion, no, I'm not for diversity and inclusion. Because no matter what you do, you're going to be kicking somebody out. And that's not what you do if you've been somewhere before where you've been treated so bad. Why you want to put the same harm on others? I don't get it, and I don't understand it. However, yesterday I put up a post about North Korea. And I got a lot of great, good comments. People who understood where we're at, that we need to be united, not divided. And yeah, I had some others come up and say they know better than to mess with our military. I have a news report to tell you. Air Force, Navy, and Army's numbers are down really good. They so down right now that the Army is considering not having a fitness test. What does that tell you about us being fit and ready? Now, however, the Marine Corps, we're a force in readiness, baby. No matter what happens, we know that day's coming. We know that day, no matter how much you talk to us, no matter how much you decide not to thank people for their service, being a Marine, we know, we understand, and we also know what's coming. We know what's coming because it's time for this to happen. Never have you heard, long as you have lived, all of these places with nuclear. People say, oh yeah, well, we know about all of that and we're going to cover it. I said nuclear, cybersecurity, cyber warfare coming at us threefold, and we won't even begin talking about how AI is going to mess up the elections coming. So you have to be a forward thinker. Not a thinker right now because you're so selfish that you think you living in a bubble, you're going to always live in a matrix. At some time, even in a matrix, something gets popped and you must respond. But what are you going to do when you're called? What are you going to do when it's time for you to do something for your country? What are you going to do instead of sit there and be a keyboard warrior and talk about what's not going to happen? And when it do happen, how are you ready? Are you prepared? Are you getting MREs? Are you stocking your house with water? Are you getting prepared to know your people who are around you, nearby you, and getting those folks ready for you to be with you if something comes down? Are you ready? Are you ready? Do you have a force of readiness inside of you?
I do.
People complaining, people talking, people just yeah. Don't understand this is real. You don't believe me? Go on the dark web. Oh, that's right. Some of y'all don't know how to go on the dark web. You think Google's your answer? You think Yahoo's going to give it to you? You better get on the dark web where they at. You better get on the dark web where all countries who are not even supposed to be online doing anything, Somalians, all types of countries are on the deep web, and they are sharing what's going on. When are we going to wake the hell up? You know, my daddy was a preacher. Come on, Reverend Johnson. Say some, well, I ain't gonna tell y'all no lie when I say there's a day coming, there's a day of reckoning that's coming to our land and to our earth. Yes, we are. All of the children that are being attacked with stuff, instead of learning, y'all trying to teach them how to meditate instead of reading. Oh, America's children are down on their education. Somebody here, Lord. Oh, I can bring it to you as a pastor now. Don't get me started. Let me tell you, we're in a day and we're in a time that you better keep your eyes open, keep your minds read, and know what's going on around you. Don't be in the matrix. Get on out. What pill you gonna take? The red pill or the blue pill? Somebody Can somebody give me an amen? That days are coming, the reckoning
Hallelujah.
is coming.
Amen.
And you might be looking for Jesus on that cross, but you might not see it. Huh? Jesus did his job. He came on the cross, got nailed, crucified. Y'all still want him to do something. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Be a force in readiness. Be ready to go towards something instead of run from it. What y'all gonna do? What you gonna do when that day comes? Huh? You'll be thankful there are veterans right now, because that's who's gonna help save you. Veterans. Because we know what's coming. We know we've been prepared. We're ready. So why don't you give veterans the same respect sometime that veterans still give you? That's what I'm trying to find out. So, may God love you, bless you, and praise you. But may we get ready for what's coming. Because cyber warfare, cyber security, war is coming. And if Oppenheimer was alive to tell you, by the way, if you all don't know who he is the one who created the nuclear bomb and said, now I have become death. This is the extension of that.
Atom bomb.
And by the way, I love you all. Valerie Marine Johnson, signing off.
Love you too, girl. Yeah, this is how do I see this? I started watching some of this. I didn't see the whole thing, but yeah. If you're not paying attention, which people aren't. I work with a guy who has no idea what the fuck's going on. No, he didn't work alone. No, of course he didn't. But what's interesting is this person I work with is, I've mentioned just simple things like, have you noticed the dollar value has gone down a little bit or something? Just to poke it. I'm just poking, right? What are you talking about? Oh, he goes, yeah, prices are high. That sucks. Right there. Right there. It's just there's nothing there. Oh, that's interesting. One of your former bosses was part of that team. Okay. Okay. Anyway, but she knows a lot. She knows, and that's scary. And that, I see fear. I understand it. My goal is to get out and protest. Get the Million Man March, the Billion Man March. I've been pushing for stopthewef.org, DIY Liberty, for a long time. We got to get on the streets. We got to protest. We need to bring attention to people, because the guy I work with has no idea what the fuck's going on. The mainstream media, like I said, they're like in the beginning of this segment, this show, this number 541, I think it is. They're not going to tell you. They've never told you. You will see it in the movies, and then maybe a year or 2 or 3 later, or 6 months, seems like, it'll happen. You're like, wow, didn't know, was there a movie just about that? Yeah, it usually is. It's so interesting. Yeah, the dark web. I have been there. I'm telling you, you're not gonna like what you see in the dark web. It's so revealing. You may vomit, and I'm not kidding. Oh, virus to threat. No, somebody's trying to break in, I guess. But it's terrible. There's a lot of things that are happening out there that are just frustrating, overwhelming, traumatizing. More so than we've ever seen. I mean, we were just talking about this last night, or not last night, but my last show was on Tuesday night. I had Cheryl and Eric on here. Never in my life would I imagine there'd be a fucking demented puppet, literally a demented puppet, running our country. I don't care if he's crafter, if he's smooth, or if he's, but this guy's just the greatest puppet on the planet for any oligarch. I mean, if I'm an oligarch, that's the perfect guy. And then vice president is you find somebody who's just lunatic, that's just a crazy fucker. So that people say, well, if we get rid of the demented guy, then we have to deal with the fucking lunatic. It's good insurance. And then when you're dealing with Ukraine, it's just a giant money laundering scheme to build NATO and put money in the pockets of the oligarchs out there and send money to. I mean, the military-industrial complex just got an approval while everybody was fucking at the Titanic Motel down in the abyss. They just did the approval for $686.2 or something $1 billion. Went through no problem. The military-industrial complex has received an average of about $680 billion, and I've been saying this for a long time. An average of $680 billion since 2001. Since that inside job happened. Since Building 7 went down all by itself at 5:45 in the evening. That was almost a half a mile away. I did the measurement, by the way, Snork. It's from it was about 600 yards, a little over 600 yards. So about almost a half a mile. Nothing's going to fucking bounce off of that building and go that far, dude. I don't care what anybody says. And you've already talked about Building 5, which you were very concerned about. Right? And there's just too much information to show that was all an inside job, which is crazy. To know that started that all. And still people to this day that are in the military have to get food stamps for their 2 or 3 kids that they have, and WIC and whatever they can to keep their families fed. But Enron, Lockheed Martin, will get their bazillion-dollar contracts and have a toilet that costs $10,000. Nope, not installed on a supersonic jet. We're talking about one that's in a fucking barracks. Right? This is how crazy this is. Was it by that fighter? Whatever. But still. It's just, I mean, how is that just, go to rethink911.org. Rethink911.org. The architects, just these engineers, thousands of them, have already, and a lot of demolition experts, etc., which don't like to get into that because that's their job, have already concluded that it was, a plane did knock it down. It may have hit it, or something hit it, but the way they were pulled down was just different. Yeah, all military should be paid. Definitely, for sure. I mean, I'm at the ready. What that lady was talking about. I'm going to do what I can. If fucking NATO troops coming here telling me that I have to get fucking vaccinated and want me to change over to the central bank digital currency and want to take my dollar out of my pocket. I 20, I got like 40. I got like, how much do I have in my wallet? I don't know, like $45 or something. I just got like $30, $40 in my pocket, just in case. Cash. I like my money to fucking fold and go cha-ching, right? I like my money to wiggle, wiggle. It folds. Anyway, there's a song for that. Yeah, if they try to get me to fucking do a ID passport, fuck them. That's not going to happen. No, not going to happen. I don't care who the fuck comes to my door. Right? Yeah. Not going to happen. And if anybody around me doesn't want to do it, I'll protect them too. I'll protect them. Right? Especially my kids. So she's at the ready. She's seen a lot of it, of what's going on. It's hard for people to comprehend any of this. If you're just watching today and you've been watching Rachel Maddow, CNN, Fox, and all that shit, watching this, you're just like, what the fuck? Yeah. But you have to understand this process has been happening for a long time. Bud Light went woke. Soda Coors. Fucking, I'm a Corona Light guy now. I love Corona Light. It reminds me when I was at Ensenada. I was at Ensenada I went on a cruise with one of my exes. And I just fucking drank Corona Light all the time. And then it's like my choice of beer when I used to go down to Las Gabiertos. It's a condo by Las Gabiertos. Las Gabiertos was the condos. Anyways, next to the lobster town. We get like fucking like 3 or 4 lobsters for like $8. They're like $2 a piece. And a fucking pride and rib was this big. Like that thick. And we're talking at least 10 inches in diameter, 10 to 12 inches, 10 inches in diameter together. And maybe like an inch and a half thick. Just fuck. And the whole thing was like $8-10. That's it. This was in 99, 2001, 2. Yeah, it was right before 9/11. Oh, that's weird. Wow. That's weird. But things have changed. Things are really wild. People are frustrated. I will protect, the people around me, and if you want to join that side, and if you want to be on the crazy fucking lunatic side, with the fucking crazy woman Kamala and Biden and the people that are just handing over this country to the oligarchs, they're literally. If you've connected the dots, as many have and I have, you'll completely and thoroughly, understand completely that they are in the process of imploding the country, so that, and this is happening to many different countries. Out of the 190, 185, 190 countries that are out there, over 100 of them are following this plan. They're all in with the World Economic Forum. Once this country goes down, then it's over. We're part of it. People think it's external. No, it's internal. There are people that are in doing it now. If you're a young globalist like Kevin McCarthy is, right, who keeps promising he's going to divulge or release or make public the 40,000 plus hours of J6 footage. He said he'd do it. That was like 5 or 6 months ago. Nothing. He voted for everything the fucking Democrats want. He didn't hold out for shit. He didn't hold out for nothing. Nothing. Isn't that crazy? He just fucking just, you know, there's so many people that are compromised, you'd be fucking surprised. So this lady she has more than every right to fucking be pissed off, be frustrated, and be a little scared. I get it. I get it. Right? What's this one? Oh, here's another one.
All of this happened in October of 2019. Watch it here for yourself.
Why don't we blow the system up? I mean, obviously we can't just turn off the spigot on the system we have and then say, hey, everyone in the world should get this new vaccine we haven't given to anyone yet. But there must be some way.
You have to prove that this works. And then you've got to go through all of the clinical trials, phase 1s, phase 2s, phase 3, and then show that this particular product is going to be good over a period of years. That alone, if it works perfectly, is going to take a decade.
There might be a need or even an urgent call for an entity of excitement out there that's completely disruptive, that's not beholden to bureaucratic strings and processes.
So we really do have a problem of how the world perceives influenza, and it's going to be very difficult to change that unless you do it from within and say, I don't care what your perception is, we're going to address the problem in a disruptive way and in an iterative way, because you do need both.
But it is not too crazy to think that an outbreak of a novel avian virus could occur in China somewhere. We could get the RNA sequence from that, beam it to a number of regional centers, if not local, if not even in your home at some point, and print those vaccines on a patch and self-administer.
It's hard to misinterpret what's being said here. They're essentially outlining the pandemic. Everything we've seen from the last year and a half described right here in this video before it happened.
Let's watch that again. Right? Let's watch that again.
All of this happened in October of 2019. Watch it here for yourself.
Why don't we blow the system up? I mean, obviously we can't just turn off the spigot on the system we have and then say, hey, everyone in the world should get this new vaccine we haven't given to anyone yet. But there must be some way.
You have to prove that this works. And then you've got to go through all of the clinical trials, phase 1s, phase 2s, phase 3, and then show that this particular product is going to be good over a period of years. That alone, if it works perfectly, is going to take a decade.
There might be a need or even an urgent call for an entity of excitement out there that's completely disruptive, that's not beholden to bureaucratic strings and processes.
So we really do have a problem of how the world perceives influenza, and it's going to be very difficult to change that unless you do it from within and say, I don't care what your perception is, we're going to address the problem in a disruptive way and in an iterative way, because you do need both.
But it is not too crazy to think that an outbreak of a novel avian virus could occur in China somewhere. We could get the RNA sequence from that, beam it to a number of regional centers, if not local, if not even in your home at some point, and print those vaccines on a patch and self-administer.
It's hard to misinterpret what's being said.
There's no other way to interpret it. There's no other way to interpret it. I don't know how do you, so J&J came out, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, been around, right? So they had to take down hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin as bad or evil or, horse tranquilizer or something. Right? And CNN and MSNBC and even Fox was all over that. Everybody was, all of mainstream media. But the Johnson & Johnson, the original that came out, they had to take that down too. They had to make sure that was the first one, because that didn't have the mRNA in it. It didn't have the mRNA in it. So they had to take that out of the equation. And then they have to prove that in order for emergency use authorization. Why they even bothered is beyond me. But they actually didn't. The actual one that was used wasn't even tested. It's just. Eric's right. Eric's right. He said it right. He said genocidal monsters. They're all of them. People are seriously affected by this thing. It's to the point where it's to the point
outlining the pandemic.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Right? And then oh gosh, where's that one I had up here? Please be here. Oh, I think I put it on here. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. That lady was fucking just spot on, man. She was like serious. Serious. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Right here. Watch. You're going to love this one. Great meme. Therefore, I will put it up, because it was done very well. It says, I don't think you understood what I said. You don't trust the science. No. I don't trust Epstein's friend, who's not a scientist. Why anybody trust this guy or confided in him was either getting paid off, part of his funding, or is compromised by his money, or is just a complete and total absolute idiot, mental fucking moron. Period. If you still think that this is one of your heroes, then you probably deserve to get your 5th or 6th booster. Pedosteen Gates. I like that. Pedosteen Gates. All right, where's that other one? Oh, this is good. So I'm not sure if this is accurate. Maybe somebody may have dubbed this in. But this is an interesting one.
To get Republicans elected.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
Wait, what did she say? Who was talking?
To get Republicans elected.
The gentleman is not recognized.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
To get Republicans elected.
The gentleman is not recognized.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities. Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against. Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
are reminded not to engage.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House. Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
Members.
So that's interesting. I guess it's saying, need more proof that you are watching a show. Yeah, that's all a fucking show. You don't have to prove it to me. But listen as the microphone picks up, her microphone in front of her, picks up the sound of her earpiece. It picks up the sound of her earpiece. Right?
Members are reminded not to engage. Of someone's name.
The gentleman's not recognized.
Of someone's name.
The gentleman's not recognized.
Of someone's name.
The guy goes,
The
the
gentleman's
gentleman's not recognized? The gentleman's not recognized? She's being told what to say, right? She's being instructed what to say, how to say it, when to say it, right? I like this comment here. This person here does a really good comment. Why don't the handlers reveal themselves? They all have handlers. Do you guys know that, right? It's a firm. One of them is the Edelman Group. They handle a lot of the elite or the predatory class. But there's other firms that handle these people, and there's a lot of people that a lot of these. This is a show, and it's been a show, okay? Because when you have, for example, let's look at CNN. All right, let me make it small so you can see what the fuck I'm talking about. But when you have CNN that's been on Iron Man 2, Avengers, Luke Cage, and then you have Rachel Maddow's been on at least 10 movies, misrepresented the ideas of March, The Report, 13th, Game Change, died suddenly. Oh shit. Okay, well, misrepresentation. But she's been on a few movies. Anderson Cooper's been on a bunch, right? He's been on, God, fuck, a shit ton of them. He's been on more than she has because he's had more time. He was recently on where are we at here? Wakanda Forever. And he did a little segment in there. I mean, what does it say? Right? The fucking mainstream media makes an appearance on a fictional storybook movie. What does that really say? What does that really say? They should have no business being anywhere around that shit. Right? They shouldn't. They're either, I get it, maybe some publicity for them, whatever, but they're part of Hollywood. They're part of the show. It's a fucking giant show. There are producers, and there are cast members, there are crisis actors, right? It's all fucking part. It's all a fucking part of it. Let me see if he's up here. I know I got him on something in here. Which one is it? Here it is. Well, it's the one he was always on right here about Wakanda. Right?
Did you notice this Ant-Man detail in Black Panther Wakanda Forever? The Easter egg appeared in a scene involving a CNN report about Wakanda. During
Yeah. So he's in there talking about whatever. I don't know what else to tell you guys. It's just fucking so obvious, man. It's just so fucking obvious. Also note which of these people were Rhodes Scholars who have to be selected by the elite society. Snork, thank you very much. It's weird that you say this here, but you won't say this kind of stuff when you're on. You have to be careful. Oh yeah, these guys are pre-selected. Like that guy said about them. Yeah, these people have been picked out a long time ago. It's like recruiting, and it's almost identical to sports recruiting. What they have recruiters for companies, they have recruiters for movements and politics. The World Economic Forum has recruiters. They're probably looking at a way and trying to entice me or trying to see what they can do to use me as a puppet or something. But they can probably already tell I'm pretty grounded. And everybody has a price. Everybody, and we're not just talking money. You know, a lot of these people have been threatened, families, lineage, all kinds of shit. All kinds of shit. Right? So I'm sure that, you know, if push comes to shove, but that's why I'm going after these people. That's why I think it's so vitally important that we fucking take down, completely just remove the World Economic Forum, because they are just the most heinous fucking group of people on the planet. Right? They're terrible. They're the reason why all the chaos is happening why most of the chaos has been happening on the planet for a long time. They're part of it. They're the creators. They're the instigators. They're the orchestrators. You get your marching orders from Davos or your representative or your handler, right? This person will stay in touch with you. You need to make sure you follow their instructions to the T. Do not veer away from it. It's just like that. It's just like that. And they do. And if you do not stay on this course, we will find somebody else to do it for you. It's that simple. It's that simple. So that's why I talk about choices. Right? That's why I talk about choices. So I'm saying stop the World Economic Forum. Fuck the World Economic Forum. They're one of the worst fucking entities on this planet. They are the reason why everything is chaos. They've orchestrated it, they've created, they put it together, right? The World Economic Forum, Young Globalists, World Health Organization, Council on Foreign Relations, most of the 0.001%, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Chatham House, Rockefeller Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates, Trilateral Commission, ETL, most of the NGOs are doing and supporting pushing their horrific agenda upon the 99%. Upon the 99%. I'm asking people to get out on the streets, and if you can't, call fucking 202-224-3121. Talk to the intern, talk to the it's called the executive intern or something, and she's pretty bitchy usually. Or leave a message. It's a numbers thing. The more you call, the more they talk about. They have a checklist, and they check the issues, right, on things that they're supposed to check with. Is it healthcare? Is it war? Is it this? Is this that? Right? And then the more you call about a certain thing, then it becomes an issue. I'm going to repeat that. The more you call about a particular thing, right, a particular subject or an issue, then it becomes a topic on their list. What is everybody talking about? The World Economic Forum? Yes, everybody. All our calls, stop the World Economic Forum. That's all we're hearing. That becomes an issue. That's the point. And then they know people are focused on that. And then they know how to go out on to their campaigns and say, oh, we're going to take down the World Economic Forum. Right? Because as soon as that becomes an issue, let me tell you what the Democrats will start doing. Oh, we're not going to do any of the World Economic Forum stuff anymore. That's what they're going to say. Guaranteed. Remember I fucking said that. All right, what do you got, Snork? I just ate some yogurt and a protein shake. I can't eat real food until 3 p.m. tomorrow, and I am going to a Taco Bell. Why can't you eat real food? I don't understand. You've got to go holistic and organic, bro. I'm telling you, that's the only way you're going to get out of this. I'm going to send you. I know they're giving you shit, but it's. I have like 5 or 6 pills that I'm supposed to be taking. Yeah, I know you're recovering from surgery. I have like 5 or 6 pills I'm supposed to be taking, right? That I got in West Virginia when I first got out there. I'm like, why? I can fucking throw a football farther than anybody. I can run a fucking mile and a half, 2 miles, right? And I'm like 200, 300 some pounds, right? If I have to, I'll run. I did it. I did a 4-mile trek a year and a half ago. Ask my ex, she'll tell you. Right? No problem. But the thing is I decided to just eat better. I decided to not drink Coca-Cola, which I had never liked Coca-Cola. I stopped drinking Coca-Cola when I was like 14 years old. The only time I would drink Coca-Cola was like when I was like a Jack and Coke I used to have, but it wasn't something I would just pick up. Oh, give me a Coke. I want a Coke and a burger and fries. That never happened. I didn't like Mountain Dew. I didn't like any of that. I drank water, orange juice, apple juice, grape juice, right? And guava juice, papaya juice. You know, did have some sugar in it, but it was not as much as, I knew that sugar was the devil a long time ago. Sugar is the devil. Sugar is like worse than the devil. Sugar is Hillary Clinton. Let's just put it that way. And I think Eric would understand what that means. Yeah, well, good. But you like Mountain Dew, don't you? Don't you? Anyway, so what I'm looking at and what I'm showing you guys right now, I think is vitally important. And vitally important means you have to understand how their system works. So if you do call 202-224-3121, you bring up, the first thing you're going to say is, I'm asking my senator or representative to say no to the entire World Economic Forum agenda. And if they say, what is that? Just say no to the WEF. Say no to the World Economic Forum. Everything they have. No central digital banking, no ESG, environmental, what the fuck is it called? Social governance, no more corporate equality index, end Citizens United, stop the border invasion, prosecute politicians, departments, companies, and corporations that violate our First and Second Amendment rights, or any of them for that matter. Basically say no to the global child trafficking, for sure. Central bank digital currency, the World Health Organization, their pandemic treaty, definitely just do not follow that. That's an issue. They're unelected officials that do not need to be making decisions. And put Bill Gates and Fauci in jail. No more Geo-Engineering or cloud seeding. Say no to Monsanto and lab-grown meat. And this list is probably small. There's probably some more, but for now, this stuff is huge. Come on. Basically, say no. Why is that showing a different color here? That's really weird. It's like blue where I'm at. That's weird. That is fucking weird, man. Right over here it's blue and over there it's gray. Interesting. Oh, maybe I have it set that way. That's probably what it. So basically, say no to global child trafficking, CEI/corporate equity index, ESG/environmental social governance, DI diversity, equity, and inclusion at publicly funded colleges. I don't know why I put that in. CBDC, say no to CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, or FedNow. The World Economic Forum's World Health Organization pandemic treaty. I think I gotta separate that. I'll fix it. The Restrict Act. Say no to the Restrict Act or anything close to it. Geo-engineering or cloud seeding. Say no to Monsanto. ETAL, anything about them. And lab-grown meat. There's a few, and for fuck's sakes, uphold our God-given constitutional rights, all of them, right? And then I kind of relay it out here. But there's other things you can do. Purchase your own. You can protest at home by calling, or if you want to wait, but just show your support. Post it that you support the World Economic Forum, because the World Economic Forum is in a sense a metaphor here. It's in a sense the label, but they are the ones that make all this fucking chaos happen that people just can't get around their head. No, it's the Rothschild. No, it's the Illuminati. No, this is where it comes from. This is where it siphons through. This is the main antenna. This is the main fucking faucet that goes out to the other faucets, right? So it comes in from BlackRock and goes to the World Economic Forum. It comes in from State Street and goes to the World Economic Forum. It comes in from Chatham House or the Council on Foreign Relations, or it comes in from fucking the Illuminati, or it comes in from fucking wherever. But it goes through here out to everything, to everybody, to their minions, to their pawns, to their compromised elected officials. The unelected shitheads tell the unelected through this portal. Do you guys get it? People say different. No. It's everything. I'll show you the dots. Come on here and tell me something different. I'd love to hear. But that's not the point. They're one of many. I get it. Right? But we have to focus on one. You want to take them all down? How long do you think that's going to fucking take? Right? If one has more power than any, it's this fucking Amway Convention. That's what I keep telling him. This is the Amway Convention of Amway Conventions. This is the multi-level marketing pyramid scheme fucking over everybody else that's in that club. They don't even know it. So that's why I laugh at the fucking Google and YouTube and fucking Meta and fucking Facebook and Instagram employees. They're just being fucked over. They don't even know it yet. They're being used, abused. All the politicians, all the legislators, all the judiciary, executives, department heads galore. They're all being fucking used. All the activist groups, the ACLU, the fucking HRC, this group and that group, they're all being fucking used. They're all being manipulated by this entity, by this group. People didn't know of the World Economic Forum in 2020. Right? I knew of the World Economic Forum in 2019. That's when I fucking started to get a hold. I was watching James Corbett. James Corbett is the guy that taught me about the World Economic Forum. You should look him up. He's wonderful. As a matter of fact, I should show you guys him. For sure. James Corbett the Corbett report. Is that it? James, there we go. Just brilliant videos. Let me just jump over there real quick. Right? Oh, here we go. And I gotta make it smaller. God dang. I think I can operate like different. I can. I just figured that. I just figured that out. I can have different YouTube screens with me on it, but then I can put, instead of having to flip over and readjust it, I can adjust it there already and then flip over to it, which I'm going to start doing now. Anyway, the Corbett Report pirate stream. So this is like his third channel. This is his third channel. I'm on my 8th channel. I'm operating on my 6th channel. One more strike on this channel, it's over. This right here won't stay up. I've already said the fucking algorithm sentinel fucking matrix squid sentinels coming after me already. They can't wait to take this influence operator down. No. They can't. They can't wait. They fucking love me. Because I give it to you straight. I'm just telling you. They know that my tactic... how do I say it? So when I coached basketball, I looked at the game as a chessboard with the chance of backgammon. You have to know the rules perfectly. If you don't know the rules of the game and how the operators of the rules control the game, and how those operators perceive or make judgments on the game, then you probably shouldn't be fucking coaching. And I used to notice that a lot. Is the first thing when I my first coaching gig was, I helped coach my daughter, I think, for t-ball, and then my boys for t-ball and stuff. But then I coached a little league. I helped. I wasn't the coach. I was one of the helpers. I was one of the assistant coaches, and we won the championship, which is pretty cool. That coach was really good. He understood what was doing. I learned a lot from that guy. Thank you for that. And then I coached national junior basketball, and the guy I played with had a that I helped. I was the assistant coach. He won the championship, and then he taught me some stuff. But there were some things missing that I thought would be important to know, because it seemed like there was time that we were giving to the other team that we didn't need to give. And that had to do with foul, out of bounds, or inbound balls, or inbounding the ball. The referee would wait until the offense was ready to receive the ball. If the offense is not ready to receive the ball, then he's not going to give you the ball and start counting to 5 seconds when you have to get rid of the ball from an inbound pass, from the out of bounds. Anyway, so that was one part. And there was some other things too that I found. But I said we should. The team needs to know how that works. What is the referee doing when he puts his hand down? It was like 1, 2. That means you need to get rid of the ball. But what does he do before that? As soon as they blow the whistle, you need to pay attention, team, pupils, students, and find out who the foul's on immediately. Who's that on? Who gets the ball? Right? If it's us, we need to get to the out of bounds and inbound that pass fast. So I taught them to do that, because nobody was doing it. They still don't do it to this day. We would get the ball. As soon as we knew what the foul was on, we would be ready, standing there waiting for the ball. So the referee had to give us the ball fast. If we're ready, he has to give us the ball and then count down. We're ready. So my guys are like, give me the ball. I'm ready. Even though the other team isn't ready, that's their fault. So what used to happen is that other team wasn't ready. We would get the ball, we do an inbound pass real quick, score. Or we do an inbound pass, drive down the lane and score. Or we'd be able to inbound the pass we'd never had an inbound pass get blocked because nobody was ever fucking ready. There was so many other things that were done too that I kind of picked apart. But the people needed to know how the game worked and how the judges worked, right? And how it's just like an attorney. Attorney has to know how that judge is gonna. What's their record? What do they do? How do they react? What's their focus? What is the constitutional position that they're always in, that they always bring up? Are they good at golf? What golf game? Where do they play golf at? Because I want to go talk to. Anyway. Also quit most sugar, eat Thai fruit instead. Oh, that's good. I've used Coke to clean my really stained toilet. Nothing cleans the toilet. Isn't that nuts? Nothing. Dude, I have some pliers, vinegar, and fucking Coca-Cola ate up the junk that was on these fucking. I had a good pair of dikes. They were a pair of dikes for tying steel. I had them for a long time. They're in the back of my truck or just something. But I put them in this stuff, and I'm telling you, it just ate up everything. And those things are like perfect right now. Perfect. I put a little fucking 10W40 on there just after they were done. Don't put not 10W40, but W5, whatever you put engine oil, that's fine. That stuff will last forever. But anyway, this is my point. You have to know how their process works. So if you're in the phone call, let's go back to here, right? Let's go back. So he understands. What's good about Corbett Report is he brings a lot of information to light. He's very careful with his wording now because he knows he gets pulled all the time. But that's a good source of information. The other one is Last American Vagabond, Whitney Webb, Unlimited Hangouts, good information, great information. And there's a few others out there. Jimmy Dore, by the way, he's got good stuff, but he's like 3 or 4 months late on a lot of shit. And sometimes he listens to people, and sometimes he doesn't, which is good. But he's had the booster, so that's all I have to say about that. Let me see. So that's a good one to watch. But what's important is, let me go back to here, and I'm going to sum this up here. You have to understand how these people move and groove here, right? You got to understand how, when you make that phone call, what they're doing. And I've had long conversations with interns because I wanted to understand. This is a while ago, because I've called this number many times. I know it by heart. 202-224-3121. It gets me straight to the representative. It gets me straight. Doesn't matter where you're from. You can call whoever you want. They're all accessible. Their interns are. Sometimes you get a message. Democrats, you'll always get a message. Usually, mostly, always. Republicans, you'll get usually a live person. Okay? But so when you get through to one of them, okay, all right, the first thing, I should probably put that in there. Did I put it in there? Let's see. Call 203. It's a numbers game. They are checking off issues. For the directory, and talk to the intern. Leave a message. Demand that they denounce and no longer support or allow the World Economic Forum's agendas. And here's their agenda. Say no to all this stuff. Okay, no more unelected official stuff, which I should put in here somewhere. All right, and then I also put in there how to protest. Where is it? Is it right here? Do not go on protest at all utility, electric, gas, water, etc. Because you want to make sure they know we're watching them. Because remember, because they want to take down the internet. They want to take down the utilities, electric, gas, water, sewage. They want to. That's they want to deprive us of everything they can. So you want to go there, and I'm saying do not go on private land or in their facilities. Do not. That's not what this is about. Here's a few steps you should probably follow. You can protest from your own home if you want, the patio, front yard. Please email videos, pics to DIYliberty.org. That's not the email. It's info at DIY. I need to change that. God damn it. Or post them on the Twitter at the Party Exodus, which is part of the website. Facebook, DIY Liberty. If it is on you. If you want to protest in or near or around the city, state, or federal buildings, then you need to obtain your own permits if required. That's it. It's up to you. All right. Protesting and marching guide info. This is an absolutely non-violent march, and no physical, verbal damage of property or upon others physically or verbal must be prohibited. I got to change that. Infiltrators and instigators will be pointed out and videotaped and exposed. There's going to be people try to compromise you. This is very important. You are out to bring attention to this hideous and destructive agenda of the World Economic Forum and their minion. So there is no need to argue with anyone. Unless Klaus Schwab shows up, then let him have it. Seriously, it's the exposure that is needed, nothing else. We want the exposure. Please understand. Exposure is huge and important. God, I should give a fucking training class on this. Who you voted for or what you voted for is irrelevant because they're not going to help you. Again, this is a non-apolitical or not about a certain political party. If you make it such, then you've compromised this message, right? If you say, oh, this is a fucking Republican thing, or this is a independent thing, or this is a green thing, then you're compromised. It's over. Because then you're part of that group. So if anybody else from the Green Party, or claims to be from the Green Party, or claims to come from the Libertarian Party, or wants to, you can claim you're with any party at any moment, at any time. You could walk in as a Democrat. You can get out of your car as a Democrat, close the door, and then right across the street you can become a Republican. Do you understand? Yeah. So what that means, okay, is, and this is just advice, this is just how to best protest as an individual, basically what this is. All religions are welcome. If you are there to make sure your religious leaders do not support the World Economic Forum, TL, that's fine. That's fine. Freedom of religion, that's always going to be a part of this, so that's fine. This is an individual based. Individual based. That's where your power really is, and people don't even get that. But I'm going to kind of explain it to you now. Attend on your own with no affiliation to any societal movement, club, or party. You are protesting on your own accord, no other. This website page is only to bring attention to the globalists and their destructive agenda upon the 99.9%. You may display this logo icon above on your banners, picket signs, or posters. It's up to you. But again, you are there marching, chanting, and protesting as an individual. The key message here is no more World Economic Forum, no more UN wars. Okay, very important. This is the very important part. Okay, very important part. And after that, I'm probably going to get going. Benefits it. Also, quit most sugar. Eat. Well, that's good. Let's see. You guys have already heard most of this stuff already, but I think it's important that people find out about or know about this. Hey, man. Still here. Okay, so let me get to it. So, remember, very important, you are taking the action to protest solely as an individual and have done your own research, checked your own sources, and made this choice decision all on your own to bring attention to the World Economic Forum's putrid and heinous agenda. You have individual rights. There is no point person or contact person to meet up with you at your protest. You show up on your own accord. If others show up also, then so be it. Please understand that the reasoning behind you being an individual in this endeavor puts no liability on anyone but yourself, or places any liability from especially anyone else upon you. Does that make sense? So what that means is, I'll probably spell it over. So if somebody does something stupid, it's not connected to you. You're not with them. You're not with their party. You're not with their group. You're not with them. You're here on your own to just say, fuck the World Economic Forum. That's it. That's all you're there for. Okay? I'll keep reading. Remember, you are doing this as a free individual, and you as an individual have every right to peaceably assemble and protest in the USA or your nation as a human right. Walk, march, and stroll around carrying a sign and chant. That's it. Okay, here's the why. There's a bunch of here on why. In case you want to talk to somebody about that, you can go over all that shit. And then there's also who, and it goes over the globalists and the idiot, and all that shit, if you want. Oh, let me see here. So I was trying to, the global organizations such as the World Economic Forum, created in January 1971, the United Nations, Hitler was created on April of 1945, and the UN was formed in October of that same year. Isn't that interesting? Established, the WHO established on 7 April 1944 with its greatest funding coming from Bill Gates. Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, which speaks for itself. The Trilateral Commission, founded in 1973. NATO, created in 1949, a few years after Hitler was defeated. That's what I was talking about. Was defeated and had members of Hitler's Third Reich within it. It did. And still has a lot of their offspring. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, with an ancestry of eugenics. Eugenics is a scientifically erroneous and immoral theory of racial improvement and planned breeding, which gained popularity during the early 20th century. Eugenics worldwide believed that they could perfect human beings and eliminate so-called social ills through genetics and hereditary. ETA that the 99% of the world populace and we alone sacrifice all that we have, love, and cherish, and hold dear for their greater good. That's it. Let's not forget the spoiled grandchildren of the Rothschilds and their offspring. And there's some more information here. It's pretty important. Davos members, COP27, G7, G20, all these fucking this is where they all do all their crazy shit. But it's the Davos where all of them go. Davos is where everybody goes. Businesses across the world, right? Companies from all across the world. All right, there you have it. This is probably going to go on Odyssey. Just letting you know. And I am pretty much done for the night. I've already drinking about 3/4 of my Corona Light, which tastes fucking good, but it's like $3.29 for fucking quart of beer. 24 fluid ounces. That's not a quart. But anyway. Rhodes Scholars, Bill Clinton, Pete Buttigieg, Rachel Maddow, George Stephanopoulos, Naomi Wolf. Oh, Naomi Wolf? What happened to her? That's interesting. Because she's I think she turned on them or something. That's pretty interesting. I'm gonna look into that. All right. Good night, Snort. Thanks for chiming in every once in a while. Let me know when you're in the area, bro. We'll go have a Corona Light together, buddy. Corona Extra? Oh, Corona Extra. I thought it was a Corona Light. There's a lot more. Hard. It's all right. Have a good one, buddy. Aloha. Everyone, thank you for hanging out. Take care. Aloha. Bye.